What is up, my ninjas? Welcome back to another video. Today we're taking a look at something I've been waiting to take a look at for a long time. And it's weird because I'm a Motu fan, right? I didn't have He-Man toys when I was a kid. I mean, I had them, but they weren't complete. In some cases, I didn't even realize they were He-Man figures because they were so badly, beat up. So as an adult, I've jumped in whole hog, right? At first, I tried to get on the bandwagon with the classics, but subscription. So I only got a couple of those. But then Masterverse came out of nowhere along with, Revelation and Revolution. And I was able to jump in and get all the figures the He-Man characters that I always wanted to get, and then some. Then we see that there's a movie coming out. And then about a year and a half ago, Mondo gave us a sneak peek at this view. And I could not believe that this was it was going to be a thing. A 1/12 scale Mondo version of He-Man. That's the 2000X version. Shit. Sign me up. So this comes out this year in about a month and a half. I think it's in about a month and a half. It's in June, right? June 5th or June 6th, something like that. Or maybe it's the 9th. We get the He-Man live action movie to go along with all the new stuff, the figures that they got coming out, some new Eternia figures coming out. Like, He-Man fans are eating good right now. I used to be jealous of Transformers fans, but He-Man fans, we are eating, our plates are full. So if you will indulge me, I am going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly, if any, on this masterfully done, no pun intended, Masters of the Universe 2000X He-Man from Mondo. And I have to say, before I even get started, this thing, I'm taking the time also to show you the box while I do this little preamble so that, we can get to the point, you know what I mean? But I gotta give you these thoughts first, A lot's been going on in my world. So it's beautiful to jump back in front of the camera and look at something that I love and then do my thing, my underappreciated thing, and take you guys to church because I got to show you what this is all about. So knuckle up and let's do it. All right, as soon as you get him out of the package, you are just greeted with greatness. I mean, every pose hits perfectly. The colors are vibrant and they scream out at you in a powerful way, which is exactly what you want with the He-Man figure. He should scream power. And he does. He stands in a very statuesque kind of stance. Everything is in the right place and you're immediately greeted with an essence of what you saw in the cartoon. Now, you know me. I'm going to give it to you straight and let you know my unbiased opinion, even though I'm a huge Motu fan. This is just fun. It's great. So everything is situated in the package like this. You can tell presentation was big for them, but you also can see that he does not come with a ton. Now, by virtue of who we're talking about, it kind of makes sense. Because He-Man doesn't really have a ton of accessories and all the ones that he needs are right here. But as soon as you get those accessories on and in his hands and around him or whatever, he comes to life. And I mean, look at this. Like, I haven't seen anybody do better. The sculpt is fucking phenomenal. Like, there's just no disputing how good, how amazing this sculpt is. It's not good, it's amazing. Before we continue, let me take a moment to give a shout out to our new sponsor, Dubby Energy. Dubby's the new kid on the block, and they're offering something that we all could use a little bit more of, and that's energy. I do a lot of work between YouTube, Strydent Design Forge, and my day job. So, anything I can take that helps boost the energy that I need for, concentration and, working to the best of my ability, I'm taking it. And Dubby does just that without the jitters. My favorite is the Japanese soda flavor, as well as the Oda Restore Potion. I dig it a lot. But if you want to get some, use my discount code KnuckleUp26 and you'll get 10% off. And I mean, it's a little something, you know, it's a little something. Maybe in the future it'll be a little bit more, but I think you'll dig it. Thanks again to W Energy, and back to our regularly scheduled program. Now, the figure kind of earns its price tag with the sculpt and the paint. The sculpt is by far one of the best sculpts we've ever seen on a He-Man figure in 1/12 scale. We've seen this level with the Mondo 1/6 scale figures, but this takes it to a completely different level. You can see the nice shimmer in all the metallic parts. You can see all the details that showed up in the animation model. All of them are here, but they're rendered in a more realistic fashion. So it feels like what He-Man should look like in a movie if they're not going to take liberties with the design. You know what I'm saying? And especially when we're talking about the 2000X design, which to me is the most superior design of all of them. There's a lot of, I don't know how you describe it other than they managed to put together the fantasy, you know, because this is a cartoon character, and mix it in with the realism to give us something. It's like a perfect marriage of both, you know. But the type of paint, when it comes to the metallics, you know, he's got the older looking metals on his harness and on his gauntlets, and it looks great. You know, nothing looks cheesy. It kind of looks like, for me, what I always imagined when I see these things rendered on the toy and on the TV show, you know, on the cartoon. Because a lot of times as comic book artists, you know, and illustrators, we approximate what certain elements would look like in real life. You take the cracks and you take the nicks and scratches that certain types of metal would be kind of more apt to you know, to end up with. Also, the fact that this is ancient gear from King Grayskull, it looks more on the crude side in comparison. I also love his proportions, the muscles. You see his muscles are bigger. His upper body and his biceps and shoulders are humongous. Look at him compared to me. And that's me all bigged up. It's still not, you know, I'm getting there, but I'm not on his level. And, you know, I also like the fact that the sculptors went ahead and followed the cues from the older 2000X figures because they had a more realistic edge to them. Love them or hate them, I love them because I think they're the best designs of the He-Man universe. They looked at those cues. Oh, and I have him paid for, pre-ordered, all of that, and he's on his way in August. So you'll be getting a review of him from me too. But you can see him standing there. The detail level is there. The materials are not. I mean, I did put a cloth cape, but, you know, we're going to end up with a revamp of that pretty soon, and you'll see what I'm talking about there. Now I wanted to, you know, while I'm on that train of thought, I wanted to take some time to put side by side the OG 2002 version with my custom Motu Classics version, and then this new Mondo version. You can see the evolution of everything. Colors and everything are still there. You can see that the classics, strangely enough, in their approach with the King Grayskull being the body, they left out details, you know, which is crazy. Details that even the smaller OG one has. So, you know, it's kind of dope to see all this stuff back on a really high-end looking figure. And you can see his musculature works perfectly. If you want to have him running and flipping and jumping and doing all the things you saw him do in the show, you can achieve that. Props to them for that, because that's all we're asking for, you know? So, you know, win. Okay, let's talk these beautiful accessories. Now, he doesn't really come with that much, which is partially why I said that I don't feel that $95 is apt for this. And no, I don't have the special edition version. That one comes with a base and an extra King Grayskull head, in addition to all of what I'm about to go over on the one I have. As you can see, he comes with the sword, and we'll go over the sword first. There's a lot to talk about with the sword because it is beautiful. It has this beautiful chromatic green and red, and then this beautiful silver to it, and then it's the right length compared to the ones from the previous versions of the figure, including the one in the center, which is the one from the original toy. Now you can see that every detail is there, with the Motu Classics one being the worst of the bunch. It has the least detail. And then here's another detail. It doesn't open up. The Mondo one doesn't open up the way that the sword does in the show, which is a detail that, as you'll see, after this little animatic or animation finishes, the Mattel version from back in the day actually does that. I'm not sure if the Origins one, the cartoon Origins one, does either. But anyway, let's move on to the axe. The axe is beautiful. Same details, except we've got this beautiful gold color on it. In comparison to the OG 2002 He-Man, the axes look almost identical. There's a few surface details that are different on the Mondo one, which makes sense. It's a more expensive figure. It should have more detail on it. That is my OG one from when I was a kid. Well, younger, I guess I should say. I think I was in college when that started. I was just about to finish. The handles are a little different, but the shield. Shield is beautiful. Same color scheme, and it's almost identical to the Classics one, or I'm sorry, the OG one. The Classics one, technically there is no Classics one with the shield. But it looks great. It looks great. And I love that they simplified the fucking handle. I'm so sick of shields coming with so many extra parts when all you need to do is give the hands proper grip and give them a bar to hold on to. The stand is a basic stand. It's cool, but I prefer my wired stands that you see John Wick and all of them on. They're superior, 100%. The hands. Something cool about these hands is that the universal joint that they have is in all of the hands. It's not sticking into the wrist of the figure. And then also, the peg itself is huge and it's thick, so that changing it in and out is really simple. It holds fairly well, and it's thick, so it won't bend and break like some of these will. Like you see this, that's the Meta Travelers one. This is the Mondo He-Man one. You can see that it's thick enough that it won't break. Commonly, a lot of figure companies make these thin pegs. There's NECA and Meta Travelers, or what do they call, Legendary. I don't like when they're that thin. The heads, the extra heads. Let's go into detail. There's the gritting teeth one, which you saw with him holding up Overkill. And then you see it here. He looks like he's in the middle of battle. Looks very cool. It kind of reminds me of Sam J. Jones. That's the cat that played the original Flash Gordon. And then there's this bonus head, which is the 2000X classic look. It's more anime. It's got the hair that looks like leaves. It's pretty damn awesome. And it looks closer to what he looked like in the show than the actual toy. He kind of looks like Aaron Eckhart. It's kind of funny. But who would have thought that they would have done that too, So now you have the perfect 2000X He-Man to sit atop Battle Cat. And I'm over the moon with this. That's the Classics Battle Cat with the Battle Lion gear on, because that's how they got around, doing 2000X. And so again, here's a comparison to the actual 2000X figure from back in the day. And as you can see, it's literally like you're just getting a recreation of that figure with better paint and more detail. An actual fur, It's pretty dope. All right, here's some things I want to point out before I get into the articulation, because this figure is very sublime in its approach. I know I used to say this fairly often back in the day, that figures were sublime, and back in the day it used to be the case, but nowadays not so much, unless it comes from a few companies or it's sculpted and engineered by a few different folks. But here's some things to point out. This figure is very Storm Collectibles in its overall approach, because there's a lot of soft, rubbery kind of material. His hands are very soft. You know, you see that they're as I squeeze them, they squeeze in real easily. And then his chest, like the torso, not this part. This part's hard. The abdomen is hard, but the upper torso is soft. And so you can't see his neck, so you have a very clean sculpt as you look at the shape, you know what I mean? Like the silhouette and whatnot. Problems that you will have are, if you look closely, you can see where the paint kind of like bubbled up a little or something, which is not good. It probably got stuck to the plastic, because this guy's covered in plastic when you get him out of the package. But that's really it. The neck is kind of weird because there's a ball joint. I'll show you. See, there's a ball joint in here. So there's nothing in the lower neck. So sometimes when you're posing his head, which you see how easily that went on, like when he looks up, see, you get that. But you have to position the head properly on the ball joint and then make him look up. And then you get the better neck action. You see what I'm saying? And he can go up pretty far. So that's not bad, you know? You just have to pay attention to what you're doing. The same goes for his torso. You know, he can lean back very far, and it looks good the way that it's cut, and the harness helps hide that gap. He also can lean over very far, which is nice because of that. And there's no gapping, not much, and you can't see it as much because of the harness. Also, the belt and the loincloth part are two different pieces. So like while you're posing him, you'll see that you can pull the belt where you need it to be, so that when you make him do what you make him do, there's no gaps. So it's pretty well engineered. Anyway, he can get his head. I showed you looking forward. You can do side to side with no problem. You can do a tilt if you want. It's a ball joint, so you got a lot of everything. It's pretty dope. You've got arms can go out like that and go up a little bit higher, but you don't need to. It's very unnatural for you to put your arm out laterally and then pull it all the way up further. It doesn't really work like that, but you can do that. You can get it up. That sounded bad. You can get his arms up like that. Because of the size of his shoulders and his biceps, it's a very tight bicep swivel, but it works. This arm is in a ball socket joint, so you get a lot of rotation. So when you want to put his arms in front, you just do this, and it's almost as though this joint was designed to give you extra, so that you could put his arms in front of his chest. You know, this is something that all figures in the modern era should be able to do. And because also his chest is soft, his torso, you see it all bunches up over there. He's got man cleavage. But it works really well. So you can imagine if he has his sword in his hands, you can easily put his sword in his hands and have him, you know, do his action with that. Elbows. Double jointed elbows, the import style. If you just bend it like this, you don't get very much, because the bicep immediately gets in the way. But something that you almost never see people point out is you can bend each part individually. See what I've done here? Then you get a little bit more. So from here, hardly anything. From here, you get more. We're bending from there instead of from here. See? Now the benefit of doing this is sometimes when you want to get the hand in front of the chest, say you had a sword pose, understanding that joint will allow you to cross the arms better. So that's pretty dope. His torso is also on a ball joint, so you can get the side to side on the upper torso. Side, side. Not very bad on the gapping. Got to be careful though, because you don't want the belt or the harness to get stuck. And then also, because it's a ball joint, it kind of shifts around, so you want to make sure you get everything back to, you know, the center. Then you have the torso joint itself, the lower and upper, so together you get a decent amount of movement. You get a lot of twist if you want it. Again, be careful with the harness, but you can twist, and you can twist, you see? And it looks pretty good, especially if he twists and utilizes the ball joint. You see that? It's like a barrel chest. It looks really good. I like that a lot. How much can he kick? Well, he doesn't have the drop down joint, which I'm happy. I'm tired of the drop down joint. Every figure doesn't need it, and most figures that have it, especially figures that aren't done by Figuarts, they don't really utilize it. So he kicks up this much, which is fine for a barbarian. Lateral this much, which again is fine for a barbarian, especially for He-Man. If you pay attention, look at the thickness of this barbell joint. I missed that because that's the way it should be, so that it doesn't break under pressure. So that's good. The swivel is built into, it's an anatomically correct swivel. You see there's no cut. But if you look inside here again, you can see that where it connects, it swivels also. So you have a swivel around the ball joint, which gives you a cleaner sculpt. Knees bend this much. You can, again, you can do that, what I just showed you with the arms, with the knees to a degree, you know, bend just that much. So if you wanted him to kneel down, you could put the leg up and then only bend this much. You see what I'm saying? So this knee is closer to the ground. You can get his leg up a little bit higher, and then you have a perfect match. The knee and the foot are in the same place, so when you make him kneel, it's a little bit better. See what I'm doing? And sometimes you have to spread out, like spread his leg out a little bit, but perfect kneel. Taking a knee. So the knee goes up that much, foot goes up that much, foot goes down that much. So you get a little bit of toe point, which is fine for him. He's not a ballerina. There's no toe articulation. You do get the swivel, so you can do his foot however you need to do it. Kicks for wide-legged stances. And it works really well. So all in all, oh, and backwards. His foot doesn't go back very much because he has the traditional butt, you know, like the way that they used to sculpt butts, that pad without, like these days, some companies will just sculpt like the way the front is. They'll do that in the back so that you can get the leg kicking back. But you don't really need for them certain characters to do that. So it works, to me, it works better this way. More forward than back, because if he's going to kick backwards, you would just lean him over and call it a day, you know? Fix his torso, just have him like a wrestler or something, you know? So all in all, this figure is very well articulated. I mean, look at this. If he's reaching for his sword, the sword would be sticking out from this side. You can actually, because of the way the joints work, you can actually, let me find the bend, you can actually have him reach back and grab the sword. Look at that. No camera tricks, no nothing. He's actually grabbing the sword. That's what we always wanted. So I would say this guy is 100% win. You guys need to get him and get him doing his, you know, his business protecting your collection. Easily, this will be the best He-Man in your collection. Although things you need to pay attention to other than what I just talked about with the neck and stuff like that is the fur sheds while you're playing with him. So if you move him around as your hands are doing stuff, you'll see this kind of stuff happening right here where the fur is coming off. The fur is glued around. I mean, it will be easy to replace. It's like feltish kind of fur around the upper part of the boot. So it should be pretty easy to fix if you ever run out. So if you do decide to play with him like a toy, just be aware that that's what you're going to get. And then also the softness of his chest being made of a kind of like rubbery plastic. He over time it's gonna wear down. So I think he might end up being more a pure display piece than anything else. But I am geeked. This guy is dope. And yeah. Okay, now this He-Man figure is 7 1/4 inches tall, which is really good because He-Man should be big. And when you look at him compared to the other offerings that they have coming up, you can see he's perfectly sized. Although I think he's a little bit, Skeletor should not be the same height as him. But I'm going to do some more Masterverse Battle Armor He-Man. And this guy's pretty big. I like this size. Strydent from Mortal Kombat 2 by McFarlane. See, they're evenly matched as far as height goes. Who-Man from Savage Crucible. I like this because clearly that's who they were evoking. Sagat from Storm Arena. Now this one's pretty cool because Sagat is 7 feet tall, right? And so if He-Man is 7 inches tall, then I think Sagat's 7'5". So He-Man is 7 inches tall, so he's 7 feet. This is Meta Travelers, Legendary. Not a fan of this line. Mythic Legions, that's Sir Gideon Heaven's brand. Next we have Blade Master Wang from Furay Planet. Dope figure, huge figure. Shao Kahn, also by McFarlane from Mortal Kombat, what was that, 11, I think it was? And then lastly, we have Superman by McFarlane. This is my custom. It's the Hush Superman body with the old school, I want to say, Rebirth head. And they're evenly set up, although Superman is not 7 feet tall, but he looks like he should be. You know what I mean? He looks super heroic, and it works, you know? So now we're at the bottom line. Everything that this figure does, he does well. I mean, like, I don't really have any, you notice I don't have any nitpicks, problems, issues, and nitpicks. I mean, I guess if there is something to say, I mean, he's got very stiff joints, but I mean, that's what you want, you know? It's what's allowing him to hold up, what's his face? Heavier characters like Overkill, and you'll see that again here in these pictures. But I mean, this is a masterful effort from Mondo. And for those of us who've always looked at Mondo's 1/6 scale stuff and said, man, it would be dope to have that in 6-inch scale, this is exactly that. So, and then, coupled with all the little details that are throwbacks to the original figure that this is based off of, I mean, like, you can't really have complaints. What would you be complaining about, I would hope that in the future, Mondo decides to package more accessories with these guys, because that's the one thing that for the price, it feels like it's lacking in that way. But everything is so fucking masterfully done that is kind of a preferential thing. You know what I mean? At this point, and that's why I'm giving this figure a straight up A+. This is masterful action figure craft, and we need to give Mondo their props. They really went ham on this figure, and I'm looking forward to whatever else they're making, because I've shown you the entirety of what they've got coming, with the exception of the Dark Eternia or I think that's what it's called, Dark Eternia He-Man, or Anti-Eternia He-Man, whatever. But it's easily the greatest He-Man figure we've ever gotten. And I love it. I'm happy. I can't complain. And, you know, we're eating good as He-Man fans or Motu fans right now. And this is just another example. So this has been my look at the Mondo 2000X He-Man. Like I said, masterful stuff. If you can get it, get it. If you know, are not into Motu, pass it, you know, because you may not give a shit. But I have a feeling that if you're not into Motu and you play with this figure, you're gonna be into Motu because it's just perfection. So anyway, that's it for me. You guys have been great. Peace outside.